Good afternoon, everybody. This is the 20th of May 2022.
I thought you were going to say 20th podcast. I was going to be like, oh, you've done consistency.
Consistency. Come on, I'm not known for that. Come on, but you were the second guest on my podcast.
Yeah, when you're still trying to find a career, you
When
didn't know what you wanted to do by
When
then.
I didn't know what I wanted to be now, but then now that I know what I want to be,
Yeah.
you're and I'm having you again. A lot of things have happened in your life since then.
Yeah, and you usually when you come back on the show that is just starting, you come back on the show is successful, the show has millions of views and all of that.
Not this one. Not this one.
You're almost where I left you.
Exactly. Same. Probably what. Same.
Yeah.
Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed much. But the only thing that changed, like a lot of the feedback, helped in kind of improving the experience. Like that, if someone comes retrospectively, kind of looks at the podcast, they look at the initial episodes and then the subsequent episodes, and I say, sound quality is good. There is relatively better studio setup lights and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's of course a lot of. I was just throwing shades, but there's like huge growth that you can't see from outside. You can't be doing the same thing for this amount of time and nothing happens. There's one or two things that are added on, and it's those things that you continue building on until that most visible growth is seen. So yeah,
I think for sure. A little bit. I think I'm talking to you, but I'll talk to you as if this is your first time in the podcast for the benefit of the few people who don't know you.
A lot of them actually.
Who are you? Tell me, what's your name? And what's up? Why do you matter? Who are you and why do you matter?
Actually, it's actually cool that you say that you're going to talk to me as a new person, because I'm actually a new person on this show right now. Because the last time I was on the show, I was AK Dance, right?
Yes.
So now I'm Akau Jambo. I'm a South Sudanese stand-up comedian. I'm an actor, and that's just about it. I'm just into this business of art.
Yeah, and you are the things that, like, for the benefit of the audience, I know you a lot. We are friends, we hang out, and probably there is like every major thing that is happening with your life. I know. If I don't know, I'll be like, yeah. But you are like into this art thing full time. You're a creative director. You're a comedian. That's what you do for life.
Yeah.
You're not other things.
Yeah.
And
if there's any other thing I've done, I'm just doing it to fill in the gap.
Fill in the gap and kind of fill in the gap financially.
Yeah.
Hey, all of us do that.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. At what stage of your life did you decide, like, I want to be a comedian?
Full-time comedian. I think I made that decision in 2017 when I watched this comedian in this small theater. It's like a small theater. It used to be a small theater in South Africa. It used to be called the Pop Art Theater. The Pop Art Theater seats 40 people. Very small, very, very intimate, yeah? And they had a backdrop, very colorful backdrop, like the words, yellow, blah, blah, blah. It's just beautiful. You just look at it, and then it catches your eye. And then there was this comedian that was doing a show on it, and the room's so small, you can just feel the vibe, the connection, and he had this funny joke. He's called Loiso Mading. It's one of the big African comedians. He had this joke about his height and all of that, and I loved him. I loved his set. And then I looked at my mentor and I told my mentor, yo, I want to perform in this theater. I want to be like this guy. Then he told me that if you want to be like this guy, then you need to start writing like you want to be like this guy. And then we had a long conversation about my whole career, about what I was trying to do, and it made me see, because when I was in Uganda in the beginning, I was trying to be a Ugandan comedian. I was not trying to be a South Sudanese comedian living in Uganda.
To be clear, there's nothing bad with it. I'm a comedian.
I mean, there are like hundreds of comedians, Ugandan comedians there.
There is nothing unique for someone like you to come and
there's nothing unique that I'm adding there. Yeah, maybe a South Sudanese comedian that speaks Luganda, a few punchlines. Okay, after that, what's up? It's done. There's nothing new. Art is all about something new and all that. And the more you keep it original, the better it gets. So when he helped me see that direction, and my head was more like, okay, I think I have a bigger job to do than just trying to fit in this space. This is not where I'm supposed to be. And then that's when I kind of like saw where I can be, who I want to be, and I just went full in. Like I'm gonna be this for the rest of my life.
So you took that road, and that's what at the age of what?
So I started comedy when I was 19, and then yeah, I was still 19 because I started comedy on June 2016. I was 19, and then I made that decision something about April to May. That same the following year. Yeah. Then a few months later, I started going on tour.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's at the age. And you did not and you were not drunk when you made the decision.
No, I was not. I was not at all.
Sometimes you can make a lot of decisions. I mean,
yeah, I used to drink by then, but I was a very casual drinker. I didn't. It was very rare for me to get up, put on my clothes, and say I'm going to the bar to drink. Like alcohol and I just meet each other. Like, oh, you're here, I'm here. Okay, let's drink.
But also also at times like someone you don't have. Now I know some people who drink like excessively. Oh, drink 5 JD. At times you don't have the financial muscle.
I mean, there's always something you can afford.
Poverty is a very good protection.
But the alcohol is the only product that was made for everyone. You can always find the right one for you. Yeah. The one you can afford, and the one that can put you down in 1 second.
In Juba here, there's one that's cheaper than water.
It is there. It's there. And that one that's cheaper than water will put you down quicker than the one that's $150.
But so the question is that, like, if it's cheaper than water, so what did they make it from?
From dirty water?
Yeah, because I'm like, what is cheap? And then like, the thing is cheaper than water. You're like, wow. You really have to.
What's the cost of production?
Yeah, what's the cost of because water? You got pick the water.
And the funny thing is, put in water bottles. Like, okay, that water costs something. It has to be something.
It really. That is the time where you're like, maybe the devil just wants to. Wants a lot of us to. The devil is subsidizing this thing.
Yeah.
But that's I think a lot of products are probably made to hook up younger folks who can then later on climb the ladder of kind of now become consumers of bigger brands.
Exactly, it's the same line. They introduce you to a product and you use the product for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You just switch from one name to another, but you're still using the same product.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And you have been in South Sudan for consistently now for 2 years now?
I'm about to hit 2 years.
Yep.
Yeah, in November I'll be hitting 2 years.
Yeah, I think I am just slightly about going 2 years and a half.
Yeah, COVID.
Yeah. Yes. We are COVID returnees.
COVID returnees.
We're COVID returnees. I was talking to someone, and I was talking to someone about you, and I was telling them like I said when you did the comedy festival, I was like, guys, like Akau Jambo, like he's a hero, and I was not saying that in like.
That's a big one, my guy.
Yeah, I was telling them like Akau Jambo is a hero. I was like telling them Akau Jambo isn't a hero the same way you see heroes in the Western movie, because a hero in a Western comes out of town. I mean, if you watch Rambo, I think you did watch Rambo. Mm-hmm. You come out of town, you're totally new here. Everyone hates or not hates you. You're not fitting in and what. But then incidents happen to your life, and then you have to somehow now save the day. You have to become that. And I was telling him, like, when you look at Akau Jambo coming back to South Sudan, he's like, I mean, as far as South Sudan is concerned, you're totally an unknown quantity. You like kind of achieve stuff.
Safe to say that.
Yeah. But then you have to kind of like, okay, like, how do I now find my way? And then you come into like doing this Juba Comedy Festival, or especially then Juba International Comedy Festival, where like, here's the platform for you guys. This is the standard. That's what you should
embrace.
That's what you should embrace, and that's what everyone else that wants to aspire should aspire to this and go above. And I was telling someone like, this guy is a hero in that sense. He's like wandering around and kind of like, now this town has to reckon with him, and I'm like, yeah. Do you see yourself like that? Do you see yourself like in that light, like as an outsider, insider now who's making things?
I mean, for anyone that has been like a lot of things are being invented in South Sudan for the first time. Everyone is almost a hero here. Like a lot of things it's either the first or second or at least the third thing to be done. And with the more the time goes by, the more things will be done repeatedly, and so it makes everyone almost a hero. Yeah, it's just a goal. Like when you're doing this thing, because a lot of people do something. Okay, there's a little bit of you doing something for yourself. Because I can't do anything for you if I'm not doing it for myself at the end of the day. Like I can't say I'm stepping out of it, or because even if I don't directly benefit from it, there is a feeling in me that's going to be satisfied by the fact that I've done this or that. You get the point? So I think I am happy with myself, because with the comedy festival, when you're doing comedy, like anywhere in the world, you're doing comedy. There is like there's like a you'll never know this, but comedy has calendars. We have calendars where we know that in March every year it's Melbourne Comedy Festival. In July it's Just for Laughs. In November to something is Montreal. This time it's that, and there's so many other comedy festivals in Japan. All of that, we get those calendars, we see all those things and all of that, and comedians would sit down and you map, like you try to make a plan and know I'll be here this time, that time, and then you make submissions, and if you're accepted here, you go there. If you're not accepted, you go find somewhere else and all of that. And I think what we were never anywhere close to that map. Like nobody really thought of us and all that. And what made me so happy is to get comedians from across Africa after the festival sending me messages, emails saying, "Hey, I'm making my plan for next year, and I want to know what time you'll be doing the festival. I'm happy to jump on and all of that." So it's more of like South Sudan as a country has been invited onto the table
now.
Yeah, and we can now talk. Yeah, we can now talk. We can now you can't show the world what you have when you're not on the showground. You're not there.
Yep, but I think that is. But I think that's why it goes back to my question of kind of like heroism, because like right now, like in South Sudan, like everything that is defined around heroism has been around fighting for the country.
And heroes have to die.
Yeah, and heroes have to die. And yeah. And then not have to die.
I actually grew up knowing that heroes have to die. I just found out later that heroes
even
were
for
alive.
me, I'm just like, I mean, when I used to watch even the Sudanese TV, it's just like, this guy, what, more songs, and I'm like, he died. I'm like, wow. Okay.
He did not die in vain.
He did not die in vain. But then
we haven't had his side of the story though.
Yeah, but then now the question is that now that this country is not at war, at least not at war in a way that was defined, this country now has to find a way that who are the heroes of this country? Who are the people who are doing heroic things for this country now? Because we cannot just rely on the past. When you go to countries like Kenya, heroes in Kenya is all about someone saved a child, someone who built a wildlife conservation, a writer, a musician. I mean, if you really want to look for Kenyans heroes that like into the dying business, you might not get a lot. Apart from like post Mau Mau, since the independence, you cannot get a lot of stories that are just related to fighting. Or to what. But for us here, like I think we don't have our heroes are mostly related to that. So the question is that now, who are the people who would be heroes now?
But the thing is, heroism is totally defined by the demand of the society. It's all about what the society needs. If the society needs a train from Budele to Jubatan, badly needs it, whoever invents that train is going to be the hero. So the demands of the countries like Kenya and the ones of a country like South Sudan are totally different.
So what are the demands right now?
I mean, I'll speak from an artistic point of view. We really have like a very dormant artistic industry. If anyone wakes up one day and builds a theater and creates a space where young people can go and create and work and like try to employ young people through these avenues, that person is a hero.
And I think probably then probably like whatever we're doing now, it should be on that track.
Yeah.
It really should be on track on that, in pioneering, setting up spaces, and also like opening windows and lifting up people and stuff.
It's all about identifying a gap, seeing a problem, trying to solve the problem.
Yeah. Tell me about comedy. It's a very unique form of art. My background is in IT, and I do IT projects.
Yeah.
And I usually tell people like art is a very what I fear about art, it's a very personal endeavor. You like when I do an IT project, the IT project and myself we're like very far.
Very different.
Yeah, like someone cannot for you to make a connection between me and the project, you take a lot of time.
Yeah.
But once you hold the mic on a stage,
yeah,
you are here. This is the art. There is no like if people are criticizing the art,
you have to be there.
They're directly criticizing you.
Yeah.
And I find that to be like that's a very vulnerable and risky endeavor.
Yeah, I mean that's the if you decide to look at it at that angle, but other people do art because they actually want to express themselves. They don't want to separate the two people.
No, but then I mean like whatever comes out of there, whether it is love or hate, it also comes to the same person.
It's the same person. You just have to get an airbag. Save yourself. Or you're in the same car.
Because
the same car with your career.
You're in the same car with your career. Your career is not far from you.
It's not far from you. But again, it's a whole. If you say shit, you have to own it. Anything you say, you have to own it. You have to stand behind your word and say, hey, this is what I said. And if there are repercussions to that, whatever you say, then who else will those things go to? They won't go to your manager. They won't go to anyone else. It's you. You're the mouthpiece.
Is that not emotionally tasking? People say like that's a bad joke.
Yeah.
You're not a comedian. That's a bad joke.
I mean, let me tell you something. About 4 years ago, I passed the stage where I doubt myself or ask myself if I'm a comedian or not. Like every comedian reaches that point. There's that one joke or that one thing you do in your career that puts the stamp, okay, now I'm a comedian. So whatever anyone says about my career or me not being a comedian or something like that entirely depends on that particular situation. It's not
an indictment on your career.
Exactly. So if you've not hit that stage, you're gonna have trouble. You're gonna have trouble accepting yourself and all of that. But if you have reached a point where you've really convinced yourself, not only just by talking to yourself, but by the work you've done and the things you've done, the stuff you've done, the good things you've done are more than the mistakes you've made, then it's not about that anymore. You are a comedian. Like I might not be happy with 2 or 3 jokes from you, but you are a comedian.
Yeah. I mean, this podcast is not in a very chronological way, but I mean I can still take you back. Your name, Akau Jamponda. Your name Ponda means a lot of things.
Oh.
It's very because the thing is that a lot of people are like, oh, Akau comedian international.
Yeah.
I told you I was at traffic and I met a traffic police officer from Rumbek.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell them I have a friend from Rumbek, but I did not tell them about Akau because I knew this Akau would mean nothing. I told him Pondak.
Yeah.
He told me there are 2 Pondak apparently.
Yeah.
He told me the other one and Jambo Pondak. I told him yes. He's like yes. He said in Arabic, Munadil. Munadil is like a liberator. He's like yeah, he's a liberator. Your dad had fought for this country.
So, I like to look at my dad as when I look at my dad and his colleagues by then, I look at the state that we're in right now. Like we are young people who are easily noticed in the things that we're doing, the few things that we're doing around there. We are all young and we're doing these things that we're doing, and that's how my dad ended up in the liberation struggle. When the struggle started, when people were like going from village to village recruiting people, they ended up in Rumbek, and the young, active guys that had a voice, the people that were moving the ground and all of that. It's not even about standing in front of a lot of people and convince them to do things. It's about being able to maintain a few people around you, hang out with you, like people like you, the stuff you do and all of that. And my dad was part of those people. With a few, it's not even a few, like so many other people. You've heard of Deng Mundit, Paul Mayoma Cage, and all of those people. Those were like the young people in my area by then, and that's how it ended up in that.
And I think by then the SPLA clearly told the communities that like we need people to contribute.
Exactly.
So I think it was both required and admirable to join.
Exactly. Because my dad's older brother, he didn't go, he stayed, and my dad went. Because there's that point where you are like in the society where you feel like you can contribute something. Like the way we feel like we can contribute something, and we wake up every day and we try and do this and that. He was at that stage, and his friends were at that stage. And then when that demand came through, they were able to supply that. There are people who are older than him, or slightly older, and even stronger than them, but they didn't go. You get the point. It's more about where the situation finds you, and I think that was their situation.
How much of your dad's legacy, and how much of like your dad's leadership legacy or stuff like that do you tap into or comprehend or explains what you're doing to some extent?
I think growing up, my mom always told me that I have more of my father than any other sibling in the whole family. Like everyone else tells me that. I have a brother who's older than me, totally different from my father. He's more of my mother's reflection than my dad, and I think which also like pushes me to the career that I'm in right now. I don't know if he was a funny person or not, but he was a cool person. People liked him, hanged out with a few of his friends and all of that. But he was more of like a vocal person. He tells it to you straight to the face, and that's literally the same thing that I really have. Like I'm not really scared of what you will do because I've told you that this is messed up. Yeah, I'll tell you it's messed up, and then let's deal with that later on. And I don't like people who step over other people. Like, it's not my thing. Like,
Your fairness is very big for you.
Yes, it's very big for me. Like I look at life in the very black and white.
And I remember, you're saying about fairness is very big for you. I remember when both of us went to Egypt.
Yeah.
And I knew like we had an incident where like, and I tell the story where like, we were checking in. And then I kind of like I had already like passed the metal detector or whatever.
Yeah. And I was still removing.
Yeah, you're still removing your rings, whatever. You have a lot of equipment on you. You are removing all that. So then I walked into the check-in area. And we were both like on business class because of the host put us on business class. So I'm walking to the business class check-in. And you know how those zigzag lines.
Yeah.
So you have to go there. It's empty. And the lady's like, no, don't come.
Business
go
class.
Go that side, please, sir. Go that side. This is business class. I think she racially profiled me. I think she did racially profile me.
She did.
So I walk in there. I just keep silent. I walk in there and I finish.
I would never be that silent. Never.
Because I was like, you know what? Let me allow this slide.
Yeah.
And then like I walk in and I kind of like I check in and what. Then you come. By then the racism has already been defined. It's like, okay, this guy's a black person can check in.
And I wanted to bring it up.
So you come and then you check in, and then once we go inside, and I told you, hey, actually this lady, this and what. You're like, I want to go back. You should have told me. And I was like telling you like, but so we go to the business lounge, and we are there, and I'm seated. You're still not there, and then the guy comes and serves everyone, and still.
Yeah.
It doesn't serve me, and I'm like, hey, Akau, what is this guy doing? You stood up, walked to him, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? You serve everyone, you don't serve that guy.
And I pointed at everyone. This guy came after me. This guy. You serve them and didn't serve me.
Then I realized like, okay, we have a very different way. Because for me, I'm like, let me hold it, But for you, you're like, injustice, whatever thing.
Put it out there, bro.
Put it out there, face
because whoever did it knows what they were doing. It's not something new to them.
And do you think that's a very useful way of kind of tackling issues?
Yeah, it is. Put it out there. There are different ways you can put it out there, but the key thing is for you to mention it. Don't go quiet and like go and say, oh, this person did this to me. Say it. Tell them in their face.
And I think that definitely. I had to kind of like really notice. God, this guy's like really. But a lot of people. You're more conscious about social issues than you are a comedian in daily life. Like when you're walking around, you're like very much in tune with things that are happening in this country.
Yeah.
Or things that are happening everywhere. And you're like, hey, I remember Bashir, who's our friend, director Bashir, who's the director.
Yeah.
Akau's racism antennas are too much.
They're too high. I'm that person in our group who's still attached to our ancestors that were taken as slaves 500 years ago. But other people are like, hey man, nah, we're not connected. I'm like, no, that's my people.
And we make jokes about it because remember, like this checkpoint at night, like this soldiers.
Yeah.
And who like to call it, yeah, nigga.
Yeah.
And for you, you're like, and I mean, we make this joke with Bashir, and like, you want to educate them about what the N-word means. Hey, don't use the N-word. It means, come on, like,
I know it's a wastage of time, but I feel different after doing it. After trying to educate you what the N-word is, I feel better.
And for them, like, they
think the N-word is anyone that's dressed
flamboyant.
They think it's a cool thing, like dreadlocks and all that. They think it's a very it's like calling someone Mister to them.
Yeah.
They think if they say the N-word, it's like saying Mister.
Look at the way we're saying it. If they say the N-word, we can use the N-word. We have the N-word. We have a license.
Yeah, we have a license. Yesterday, we're just trying to make it easier for our white listeners who will be reciting the podcast.
Someone will be like, oh, okay, when are you? I'm in the minute number.
So, yesterday I was, I think about 3 a.m. I was going to this club with a friend of mine. And then I was driving and this soldier was sitting down there, looked at me and said, Bob, because they think everyone with dreadlocks is Bob Marley. Bob, are you going to Jamaica? And then I asked him, bro, has anyone ever driven to Jamaica? He kept quiet. I said, no, come and sit in the car. Let's drive to Jamaica. If you think we will drive to Jamaica like that, let's drive to Jamaica. So they always say inappropriate things. They think it's cool and all of that. And even if you laugh it off and have that whole chat, but at the end of the day, let someone also notice how wrong that thing was. You can't tell someone that. It doesn't. We can joke about it. I'll also joke about it, but I need you to see that it's not right.
That this is not.
Yeah, especially if you don't know someone. Like if I ran into you and you asked me if I was going to Jamaica, I'll be like, cool, I'm going.
Yeah.
But I've never met you.
But I also really don't like this over familiarity.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's not even about. And I said it before. It's really not about the kind of people that I meet, but there are a lot of people that I kind of quote unquote know online.
Yeah.
And then I meet them, and then people are just like, I think people think like because you're. I can say this, you are kind of a public figure, kind of known online or known everywhere.
Yeah.
Your life and your existence is kind of an easily consumable commodity.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember one lady also messaged me, she's like, Ian, I think it's a drink card, which means like you. It's like, wait.
Yeah. It's a very informal way
to
address someone like
that. Then I'm like, no.
It's like picking up from a conversation.
Yeah. I'm like, no, we don't know each other that way.
Yeah. But I think it's. I try to understand them at some point or degree, because when you are on this side of when you are creating, when you are the figure that's creating whatever you're creating and all of that, your audience kind of builds a virtual relationship with you, and the rate of that virtual relationship gets higher the more you keep on engaging with them and all of that. And that's why you can't really like I run into people who show me so much love that people I've known physically have never shown me. And I try to understand this because these are people that think that they will even never meet you. Like someone just runs into you and be like, oh my God, Akau, I'm a big fan. I saw this. I was just talking like this. Some events just add up. So like the coincidence, like yesterday I ran into this dude who actually downloaded a video of mine that particular evening. I was trying to send it to someone. Yeah. So when I ran into this guy, you should have seen the excitement. The guy was so excited, got his phone out and showed me the video. Like I just downloaded that video today. So that kind of connection is created virtually. You don't know what it is, but it means a lot on that person's side. Yeah. And when you meet, you always just need to try and level up with them. As long as they're being respectful enough.
And that's why Bashir and I say that you're the people's pastor. Because and in all honesty, you're people like your art. Like I remember that this time we were going into Tulip, and then like there's like few this NGO white people who kind of like they were going into their car, and this lady's like, "Hey, you are the comedian. I know you." I mean, she didn't know your name, but you are the comedian. I know you. I was in your show.
Yeah.
And then there's a time also we were like, I think at a parking lot at Finisher. Like,
Yeah.
I think like a security guard.
Yeah.
Came to you, hey, Fanan, whatever, something. I know you. They watch your content, and I think this happens in a lot of this happens in a lot of places. And for me, like, because I see both sides of this, I see when you're creating the content, and I also see the reactions that. How does that make you feel? Like looking at this, this is a lot of responsibility.
It is, man, and it makes me feel really like last night I was going out with a friend, then I reached at this
not
this
the one
bar.
at 3 a.m., right?
The same friend. Then we reached this bar, and so people are paying to get in. It's crazy, and there's a lot of people and all of that. And when I go to such place, I'm happy to pay. If that's what's going on, I'm happy to pay. But the chaos was too much. So I told her, yo, let's step aside a bit. Let's let these people, like, I'm cool paying, but I don't want to be seen like, yo, I want to get that. No, not like that. I can go home if it has to be that. So I told her, let's step aside a bit and let people, like, there are like a few people, let them get their way in. We'll go in. The music doesn't end, the alcohol doesn't end. So we were just standing there, just giving it a minute. Next thing I realized, there's a bouncer in the corner who sees me, and he shouts my name. No, actually before he actually shouts my name, I was still standing there, and then Ajel, you know Ajel? Ajel Machar?
Yeah.
Ajel Machar walks in, and then he sees my friend. He knows my friend and says hi to my friend, and then he sees me. Oh my God, you should have seen the reaction of the guy. Now Ajel is a big guy.
He's a big dude. You can.
He grabs me. He grabs me. And he hugs me like, yo man, I'm a big fan, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm so small. I'm just in his arms like this and all of that. It's so small. It's like, hey guys, going in? I'm like, yeah, we're going in, but I'm just trying to wait for this thing to cool down. It's like, no, I got you. Again, goes, pulls out $100. He wants to pay for everything. I'm like, again, cool down. Then while he's doing that, this bouncer sees me and says, oh, Akau, Jambo. Yo man, I'm a big fan, bro. Then he tells the guy, this is a big comedian in this country. We cannot make him stand outside, blah, 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 blah. Get in. He pulls me. And then he wanted to close the door after me, and the girl is out. I'm like, yo, you want me to leave my friend out? And then my friend gets in, a girl gets into, and the things, the small things like that, like, they make me so happy. Like, knowing that what you just do by just pulling out your phone and tweeting about this, or like recording this and putting it up there, laughing, happy and all of that, creates so much impact in people's lives down there. And also people of like very, very important people in the society are also able to notice your work. Because one would think that comedy, out of all arts,
they think of it as a less prestigious art.
And you can see somebody like a Jellos, many other people, they're like, oh, this is good. I love what you're doing. It's very great. It just it moves me. It really moves me. And the more it goes down to other people, it really moves. That's why you see I have a very intimate connection with my people. Like I know someone has told you before that I reply DMs, you don't reply DMs.
I'm a bad public person. Unlike you, I don't know. I just want to prove. I want to become better. To be honest with you, the virtual thing, I want to put content or whatever thing, and then
move on with your life.
I just move on with my life. Even on Facebook, like I don't reply comments. There's a time so many people comment. My girlfriend commented, I replied to her.
And then you left the rest of the
So like, I don't know when this was this. I think it was during something. I think it was when I got verified. When I got verified, I was like, got verified. The fast food, whatever. Oh, got verified. And I'm like, David, you feel probably like 100. I'm just like, Just when I saw my girlfriend replied.
Because when you go home, this one will be. They'll ask you why you didn't reply.
Reacted with a love, put some comment, left. One guy came there to another comment. So this is what you're doing. I don't know. I'm yet. Probably this is because of the nature of what I do. And that's the problem is that like unlike you, where people kind of react to you at like clubs. For me, people react to me like, why? If someone else does this to me, and the other people are like, what? Why is he important? Like, why is he known? Even I'm kind of the Kardashian of.
There's some other reactions like South Sudanese are really like some funny people. Last night, some girl walks to me. I was seated in the corner and I had my shades on and all that in the middle of the night, so I was attracting everyone's attention. And this girl walks to me and says, "Excuse me." I say, "Yes, what's up?" Says, "I was told you're famous. You're a celebrity. What are you famous for?" Now I didn't know. I don't know how to respond to her. I don't know what to tell her and all of that. It says, "What type of music do you do?" and all of that. I'm like, "Yeah, I actually do Afro."
You should have told her Action and Energies myself.
Like, I don't. Why would you walk up to someone if you really don't know what they're selling?
I think it's a very genuine question because people want. I think people gravitate towards famous people.
Yeah.
And I've seen this. I've seen this in a sense of, like, there's a time that my work started being noticed and stuff like that online. And I've seen that people started inviting me to their things or wanting to hang out with me.
Yeah.
And you know that these people gravitate to, some of these people gravitate to your fame because, or you know, the fact that you're known. Because when you go with them somewhere, they actually tell their friend, "Hey, this guy is this and this and this. Don't just, he's not just my other friends." And I think it's just a thing. It's just a thing. I mean, we were saying in the car earlier on, we were saying,
we were saying, say it.
we were saying in the car, we were saying like this artist management and people wanting to create record labels and what. We were saying like, there are a lot of people who are just insecure and want some sense to tap into fame.
Yeah.
And probably like managing artists or creating or pretending to manage artists and creating brand record labels is probably the easiest way to get that.
But I think, and that's actually the most disastrous thing in South Sudan at the moment. Everybody wants to get a piece of the fame.
Everyone got to get a piece of that fame.
But when you ask them at the end of the day, so yeah, what are you famous for? The only thing that people can tell you is that I'm famous for having money, or for having a few pounds here and there and like doing this and that. And it's very manipulative. We cannot grow an industry in that way. I personally, when I started doing comedy, my mind has never been to the fame direction. Like I am very comfortable you not knowing me, but knowing the stuff that I do. Yeah, the product is what I paid so much attention to the product, the quality and all of that, to a point where if I become famous and someone asks, "What does he do?" it's there. You can find what I do and all of that. And a lot of people concentrate on the fame and the product is left behind. So you find artists that are competing with managers. And these artists need to continue working with these managers because they need their money.
Yeah, they need their money.
So these managers are investing in them for them to be made famous. And it's not growing the industry. We need to just, for us to commercialize this industry, make it a business, and for everyone to benefit and all of that, we need to understand that we have people in comedy. We have people that are called gatekeepers.
Everywhere, I think.
Everywhere, they're gatekeepers. If you don't know about gatekeepers in the entertainment industry, you don't know what you're doing.
I think we have it, even in IT, even in projects. There are people who are just gatekeepers.
Gatekeepers is more like the way you hear the word gatekeepers. Like their role is there to open for you. They don't need to be known by anyone, but they're there. You need that person before you get what you really need. If I need a Netflix special, there is someone that will open that gate for me.
Yeah.
And that's his role. I don't know where he is, but he is somewhere in the world.
And that person's judgment on your art at that moment is the most important judgment. Leave
alone
your audience.
Leave alone what your audience thinks or blah, blah, blah. All I need to do is to convince that person that, hey, I have the numbers, I have this and all of that, and I can do this. But if that person is in a terrible mood, I'll have to come back tomorrow.
And I think that's something very important. That's what Jay-Z was saying. He's saying like there is comes the times and these people, they take this person and they bring them saying like, this is Justin Bieber.
Yes.
And people are like, okay, we'll consume this.
Yes.
And that sometimes they say this is, of course,
This
taste.
is Kanye.
Yeah, I was like, and then after some time, Kanye now has people who his audience are so big. Now Kanye is the one who goes and tells the gatekeepers, "I am Kanye."
Yes.
And he has the audience and he can build his own platform. But
Yes.
before that, before Kanye becomes Kanye, those gatekeepers are the ones who need to kind of introduce Kanye.
Yeah.
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 You cannot. I mean, now with TikTok and other things, probably people can circumvent
Yeah,
that.
you can.
But still,
You can do that, but still, for you to like officialize or professionalize your work, there are people that we need. They don't even need to be artists. They're background players, but we don't have background players in South Sudan.
do you think everyone wants to play in the foreground?
Yeah, everyone wants to play in the foreground. Everyone wants to be in the forefront. Like the only part where they really like. I know managers who are happy to go on stage with the musician and be like, yeah, I don't need you on that stage. I need you on the ground trying to make sure that everything is going on well. And like, trying to make sure that we're getting paid after this. Make sure that everything that we need to do is perfect.
And I think that is where mentorship comes in, and like the idea of a mentor or a guide or someone who's supporting, who's kind of building a platform. I'm very big on building platforms because I think building platforms help people progress.
Yeah.
And what we need to do right now is setting up those platforms. People can flourish from there. That's the idea behind Seniors, because I mean Seniors is a community hub here in South Sudan.
Yeah.
The idea with it is really not for me. When I show up there, you're like, this is Nelson. He's the one who founded Seniors. No, when I show up there, I'm like, I need to buy something. I need to sit there and find and also get connection and what it's.
And there is the founding disease that has captured our generation. Our generation wants to be a founder of this or that, and I think the most important thing is not who founded this or did that. Much as you establish something, you need people to run it. You need everyone's contribution for a thing to happen. Do not focus on I'm the founder of this. Like there are people who are running around saying I'm the founder of this, but that thing they founded is on the ground, has not worked for the last 10 years. There are people who do that, but they just want that word to be on their CV and all of that. I did the comedy festival. I even the Juba International Comedy Festival. It was an idea. It was an idea that I got in 2018. It has been my dream to pull this thing off for a very long time. But I knew I can never do it on my own.
Yep.
I can never do it on my own. I talked to a friend of mine who really believed in me, and we kept on brainstorming about this idea, giving ourselves the time for us to pull this idea off, and we finally did the Juba International Comedy Festival in 2022. And we started planning for it last year in May.
Yeah, I remember like the discussions you have
exactly
back and forth. Yeah.
And she was there. She really helped like establish the whole thing. And that's why I am not gonna go around and say I'm the founder of this. No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. I might have thought about that idea, but that idea could have died in my head. I need you and that person to make this thing happen.
And
like,
kind of usher it in.
And kind of usher, like even after she played her role in establishing and like trying to find the grounds for the festival and all of that, we moved to a phase where I was very happy with her sitting down
and
aside,
other people
come and do, and she was happy with that, stepping in the back and letting these other people carry on from where she stopped.
I usually call it, like I said, ideas are like pieces of Lego.
Yeah.
So when you buy a set of Lego, I mean, to be honest, I didn't grow up playing with Lego. So I
don't even know what Lego is.
Lego
I'm just accepting.
Lego is this game. Charity Lego Nini. This
puzzle?
Game, no, it's not puzzle.
It's a game.
Where you build.
You haven't watched Nickelodeon?
See that those pieces where you put it on the next one, on the next one.
Oh, those paint
like
things.
Yeah,
those
you
bricks.
can actually make a puzzle and a what.
Yeah, I know those things.
Yeah.
The robots and all of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is Lego.
Yeah. I didn't know what it was called, but I played them when I was young.
Yes, that one.
Yeah. Lego.
Did you buy them?
I always ran into them. I don't even know how they got there. Like I'm trying to remember. Like I always ran, and my mom would never buy that shit.
Or even me.
I always ran into them though.
That gift for Baba Christmas. Those ones.
Bruh, we never had those Baba Christmases.
So now those things, if you have the pieces of Lego when you bring them, you get a lot of them. But then it's meaningless. It's a lot of small pieces, meaningless.
Yeah.
So what you do now, as soon as you take one and you place two, it starts taking shape. You don't know that whether that's a car or it's a house or it's a what.
It can be anything.
It can be anything. But the more you add, the more it shapes up.
Yep.
The more it shapes up, it becomes like, oh, this is a house. Oh, this is a fence.
Yeah.
And then now other people can see that like, this is a nice thing. But I think that's how ideas work. When you have an idea, it's kind of just all that pieces of Lego together. And then like other people build on it and it starts taking shape. It's like the comedy festival, when you had it, it's probably just like random pieces.
Yeah.
Someone else has to kind of build on it. Someone else has to build on it until it becomes that. But then the problem is that like a lot of people think like that idea, as if when you have those pieces together, it's just that is it.
Yeah. And there are people who have beautiful ideas and they are holding on to them because they're not humble enough. They're holding on to them because they want to be the founder of that idea. They want the idea to rotate around them and all that. And they're not humble enough to just let the idea go, invite other people on that idea, and make it less about you.
Yeah,
make the idea happen. Like let everyone contribute and make this thing happen.
Don't you think that's a national issue? Because right now, they're like everyone, really the overlap of authority and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Don't you think it's a national issue that like a lot of people, if people kind of step back and really allow others to flourish, that would really help us as a country also?
Yeah, I mean, an apple doesn't fall far away from the tree.
Yep.
Like everything we do is just a blueprint of what's already going on. Like everybody wants to be part of the of the thing. Like you want in one way or the other. The thing is here. You want to be attached to the thing.
I mean, Immanuel Kembo has this song. They're like, Kuluzola Zikun Sultan, Kuluzola Zikun Ben. Everyone wants to be a sultan.
Everybody wants to be a Ben.
And I think that is kind of like probably that's the syndrome of our country, that like a lot of people want to. That's why people whenever you get into trouble, people say, "Do you know who I am?"
Yeah, people want to be I'm the director of this organization. Like, have you ever been to these workshops? Like, you hear people introducing themselves. I'm the director of this organization, director of that organization, and all that. And the question is, okay, what is this thing doing?
Yeah.
What exactly is it doing? How is it helping the society? But
you're
cool
director of a defunct.
But you're just cool with having that whole thing. So I think the more if we really concentrate on ideas, not titles. Like you should be happy to have an idea run without being called the director of that idea. What I know for sure, my guy, is that a beautiful idea, an impactful idea, will always find its way back to the creator. It will always find its way back.
That's how Steve Jobs went out and then he came back again.
Always find its way back. Like everyone will try to find out who thought about this, who did this, who did that, and will find its way back. And that recognition is stronger than recognition of something that doesn't even exist.
So kind of a reminder, what should we expect from you next? What is coming from you?
What should you expect from us? Good question. What should I expect from myself too? I mean, I'm trying to work on a lot of things, but like underground right now. I have like a lot of tools that I'm going to launch next year. So I'm trying to work on a lot of material. I'm trying to. I'm in contact with the producer at Melbourne Comedy Festival. Like I want to produce like a whole show there, like maybe like a month and all of that. So I'm and a lot of other projects that I really can't talk about right now because I'm a guy who doesn't speak about things unless they really like manifest and all of that. Like I have projects that are in my email right now. The conversations are going on and all of that, and I'm just like, when the right time comes for me to talk about these things, I'll talk about them.
Is it that African thing that if you talk about it, it doesn't happen?
No, not really. It's that when I tell you that this is going to happen and it doesn't happen, that explanation of why it doesn't happen is harder than when I wait. Then when the thing happens and then you see it, or when I confirm that the thing is happening, then I'll let you know. I don't do myths. I don't do this whole beliefs and all of that. You give it a bad I give it. It's okay. It's not meant to be mine. So yeah, there are a few things I'm really working on. I'm excited about them. It's gonna be a good run. like a very good run.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is comedian Akau Jambo.
Yes, here we go.